To the You Think It, We Say It show. I am your host, Tiffany Taylor Hicks, and we are excited to be here today. This show is brought to you by the Houston African American Bloggers Association. It is an opinionated show, and we do this weekly, so we're excited that you guys will be with us. We are happy to bring this episode to you this week from our sponsor, Paul Wilson Insurance Agency. So today, I am glad to be here with Chandra and Janae. How are you ladies doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I am doing absolutely great. I'm excited about the topics we're going to be talking about today. So the first thing that we will be talking about today, our first segment, is It Takes a Village. You ladies ready?
It does. It takes a
One of the things we decided we were going to talk about was social media. So that's like a huge thing today as it relates to any community, like how our kids are engaging in social media and how it affects us. And so talk to us a little bit about, what do you think about social media and the monitoring of that? How should we monitor our kids?
Oh, my goodness. First of all, let me say, I thought about this topic because I have nieces and nephews. Every time they come over my house, I mean, their heads are down. And I'm talking 4 or 5 years old, you know, and their heads are down. They're on the social media watching YouTube, and I'm thinking, hello, you know, they
Sometimes
don't. Sometimes
you can't even have dinner because they're on the phone.
Exactly. So they don't acknowledge. So I said, are you guys not monitoring? You know, is this a way just to kind of keep your kids occupied while you do other things, or just kind of keep them, you know, out of their hair? And I just find it to be quite disturbing, because, you know, we have our kids just tuning us out.
Do you think that there is a certain amount of time that the kids should be on social media? Like, should we limit the amount of time that our kids are actually able to access social media?
Absolutely. I mean, it's very important, because our kids have become so disassociated with real world and real life. Okay. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram and things like that. So sometimes they don't even know what's really going on, and they don't even know how to communicate these days.
I think that there's a huge separation between reality for the kids. Like,
Absolutely.
I think right now that our children believe that what they see on social media is real. They believe that to be true. So, like, if whatever lives people are living on social media, I think they think, hey, I could do that or I can be that. And they don't really understand that what's happening behind this. This is just what they want you to see. But there's this whole other world that's happening behind the scenes that may not be reflective of what you're actually seeing, right? And I look at it from the perspective of just a good example, Cardi B, right? So that whole situation of a girl being able to, you know, be a stripper, go be on a reality show, become a rapper, and like now all these little kids think that could really happen for you, but there were circumstances that got her there, and people don't see the work that she put in behind that. So that's one of my things. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it really takes away from like the development at whole, because kids are spending a lot more time indoors. They're cooped up. They're sitting around stationary versus like when I was a kid, you know, we was outside. Like, hey, go outside. Don't come back in unless you gotta pee. Drink from the water hose, and you'll be all right. But now, like, kids, they are just in the house all day, every day. Like, obesity rates are going up. Attention spans are shorter because they're not used to having to like focus on things aside from a TV screen. So when they're dealing with a live person, it makes it even more difficult. So I think it's definitely not a good thing unless it is monitored.
Right. And I know I was doing some research, and they said kids look at their social media sites at least 10 times a day. But I think that's probably a very conservative number.
Very.
I was watching, it's a new show called Undercover High School.
Oh, I haven't seen
and
that.
it's a really good show. And so these adults go undercover to these high schools just to kind of monitor, you know, what kids are doing these days. And so I was watching one episode, and a young lady, she got on the camera and she said, oh, I look at my phone, at my social media sites, at least 42 times a day.
Whoa. Oh, wow. when is she doing homework? Like, when is she doing
Exactly.
schoolwork? How about
mean,
that?
What is she doing in class?
And I'm thinking to myself, 42 times, that's the whole day. So these kids are not even engaging in their schoolwork or listening to the teacher or anything because you're so busy on seeing what's going on social media.
Let's talk about that. So that's an interesting thing that you just said. So what I found was very interesting is that these kids are now using some of these applications on their phones to hide activity.
Uh-oh.
So let me give you an example. So I thought Words with Friends was simply Words with Friends. But it has turned out that the kids are actually using the apps to hook up. Like, this is how they're meeting people. They're actually dating or exchanging, information via games. And so it's very difficult for parents to catch that because if you think about it from a parent perspective, if your kid's on the phone and they're playing Words with Friends, you're not going to say anything about it. You're going to move on, right?
Right.
But unless you actually know that there's an opportunity for them to be hooking up. And I'm thinking, so I know older people that play Words with Friends. So that was very concerning for me because you don't know how old somebody is. So you don't know if your child is actually playing Words with Friends and communicating with a person that's older than them or much younger than them. You really don't know. So what would you guys say? What are some solutions for what parents could do to monitor their kids' activity? We'll start with you.
Well, actually, there are a few apps out there that parents can utilize to monitor their kids' activities. I know I saw one called Bark, and it's a cost. It's probably $9 a month, but I figure what's $9 a month when you're monitoring your kids' activity to make sure that they're safe and that they're participating in, honest type of activity online. And so it barks. It alerts you when there's potential risky behavior going on with your child. Some other ones called Dinner Time, where you're able to watch it. And then there was another one, I'm sorry, I had to write it down, you guys, called Canary.
Okay.
And what that does for teens that are driving, it will alert you if your teenager is driving
and using
the phone.
Okay.
And so that way you'll know because, so much catastrophe happens just with people having wrecks and using their phones and not paying attention. Okay. So those are just a few solutions that people can look up. And
what do you think, Jay? Because I know you have a younger child, but this is his future.
Yeah,
right?
And I think it's really difficult because the internet now is not like the internet when it first came out. Like when I was coming up and the internet came out, I don't even remember how old I was, but it was a while back. But the biggest concern,
you age yourself,
right?
But the biggest concern was, your kids being in a chat room with somebody and then planning to meet up with somebody in the chat room. But now it's like you got Snap, you got what is it called?
So Snapchat.
You have live
Kick.
streaming and stuff, all kinds of stuff. And so now, like, you don't even know who your kids are talking to. A lot of times, if the parent isn't like really paying attention to what their kid is doing, then you would never know. Like my kid, he's 4, so he doesn't like have social media, but his thing is YouTube. Like for some reason, he figured out how to use the YouTube app, and then he started watching these. He calls them gas videos. So he's in love with PJ Masks, but these gas videos are grown people dressed up in latex PJ Masks costumes.
Wow.
And they're pretty much just farting in each other's faces.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm sorry, that was funny.
but then it's like the scene will switch and like one's trying to tape the other one's behind and all kinds of strange stuff. And I'm like, you can't watch this. Like, I don't want you watching adults do things. He likes the kids playing with the toys, but then in a second, it can go from that to the next thing that pops up in suggestions is an adult playing with the kid and doing some really inappropriate things. And then the other thing, because, again, mine only watches YouTube, like, there'll be these movies of kids playing, but, like, in the middle, I found out, there'll be, like, clips of, like, a kid, like, flashing or something like that. And if you're not watching the split second, you'll have missed it, but now your child is exposed to some type of like sexual predatory behavior and you have no idea, and then you're wondering why your kid is doing this or that or acting out, and it's because they've been watching something that you had no idea, and they didn't intentionally watch it. So
that actually brings us to a really good topic. So one of the things that I'm hearing what you're saying is that some people are utilizing social media to groom children, right? So that's one of the things that we have to worry about. And then the other thing is also cyberbullying, right? So I've noticed that is a huge thing now. I mean, I'm I'm a mom, but my son is much older and don't have to deal with that. But I do know that was on the cusp of it when it was first starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you find that there have been kids that have committed suicide. There are kids that are, really, really not dealing well with cyberbullying. So let's talk about that. One of the things I'd like to know is, what can parents do to start that kind of conversation with their kids? Because kids nowadays won't even tell you if somebody is picking on them. So what would you say? How would you, as a parent or as an aunt or whatever, how would you open up that discussion?
Well, for one, I think you have to engage with your kids or with your nieces or with your nephews, and just simple conversation. Like I always ask them, how was your day? What's going on in school? Tell me what's going on. Who's your best friend? Just different questions like that. Anybody messing with you at school? And so just open-ended conversations like that kind of makes, I believe, children feel a little bit comfortable with maybe sharing that type of information.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, that way you can open up and maybe they can tell you that, hey, on Facebook, somebody said something about me, and you can end up having that conversation, with them that, it doesn't matter, what people say is just social media. I mean, but it has really just taken its own form. Because I know back in the day when I was, we called it jonesing, where we would just ranking on each other. We would just say things, and we dealt with it ourselves. You would say a joke about me. I would maybe say something, about you and how you look. And it was just in all fun, but we never took it there. Now, I don't know how it would have been if social media would have been alive and well back in the day, but these kids are really dealing with big issues, with the cyberbullying. And so that's what I would just say. What you think, Janae?
Well, I think it's it's a little different now. Like, because, we played the dozens when I was younger, too. But at the end of the day, everybody was still shaking hands and cool because you knew you weren't, or, you were squaring up. You was throwing hands if it was a problem in the moment, not hiding behind a screen, not pretending like, because nobody can get to me, I'm going to say the most malicious thing that I can. And so I think nowadays it's really turned into something really ugly, even though I don't think it was like necessarily the best thing as a kid. I think it's turned to something like 10 times as worse, because now when kids are doing it, they're doing it because they want to tear you down, like really hurt you to the core, versus these are all jokes. It's all in fun and games. And if it's not, if you got a problem, see me outside. Now it's like, I'm really trying to hurt you.
Right. So that brings me to the next question. So how do you feel about parents following their kids on social media? And I say that because it's really cute, because I think that Snoop Dogg was following his daughter, and like on her Instagram page, he told her to stop cussing, and it was so cute to me. But I personally think that it's I've followed my son on social media when social media first started, and I didn't get involved in his conversations, but I was definitely there so that I could keep an eye on what was happening, and keep in mind, I'm the clapback mama. So if somebody say something out of line, I might have to clap back at you. But I think that it's a really good idea for parents to follow their kids on social media and know what they're doing. How do you feel about kids blocking you?
So for me, first of all, if I pay this bill, I have access to whatever my money pays for. That's the first thing. So I do want my child to understand that I respect their space as a human being, but they also need to understand that there are rules in this house, even though, mind you, my child is 4, but there are rules in this house, and if you're not paying your own way, then that's tough.
Well, y'all heard it. That makes sense. There's rules in the house.
You're a podcaster or vlogger located in Houston. Do you need help amplifying your voice? Do you want to be an active partner with an association that was designed with you in mind? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, now is an excellent time to join the Houston African American Bloggers Association to enjoy the benefits of working with a thriving and expanding collective.
Trust Paul Wilson Insurance Agency with all of your insurance and retirement needs. They provide insurance coverage for auto, business, home, life, as well as offer retirement solutions and college savings plans. Give them a call, 281-200-0137, or stop by 11700 Barker Cypress Road, Suite D, Cypress, Texas 77433.
Thank you for watching Houston's most diverse opinion-based show, You Think It, We Say It, brought to you by the Houston African American Bloggers Association. On the show, we share information, opinions, and perspectives focusing on Houston and flowing outward to encompass living well globally. To find out more, please visit HoustonAfricanAmericanBloggers.com.
Go inside to get some food, and I come out, oh my God, my car is stolen. Call my cousin to pick me up. Just so happens he's delivering pizza. But luckily for me, I have Paul Wilson Insurance as my insurance agency. I am properly covered in the event of a loss. Contact them for a free, no obligation review of your current policy at 281-200-0137.
Welcome back to the You Think It, We Say It show. I am here with Chandra and Vernetta, and we will be talking about Black Houston living. Hey, ladies, so we have some interesting topics as it relates to Black Houston living, right?
Yes, we
so
do.
let's just go ahead and roll right into it. What is up with these two Martin Luther King parades in this city? So I was so shocked. I didn't even know we had two. I only went to one. I didn't know we had two. So let's talk a little bit about that. We decided we were going to chat about how do you feel about that? Do you even know why? Who knows why we have two? Does anybody know?
Ego.
Yeah. All right. So there we go. Let's jump right into that.
Jump right into that. Houston has a problem if someone in the group gets mad at someone else, then they break off and create something else. Because we have 2 fashion weeks as well.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So New York has 1. Houston has 2. I don't understand how that makes sense.
So my understanding, I want to make sure that I understand this. So we have one, which was started by the Black Heritage Society, and that ran from 1978 by itself. It was the only one until 1995. And then now we have like the MLK Foundation, Parade Foundation, which started in 95. So we have 2 now, right? And so for my understanding is that Sylvester Turner has called for us to have one, and that he has spoke with the members of both organizations, but apparently they are not willing to combine forces. And so now the mayor has actually made a call out to the people, for us, the people, to make a decision to go to one. How y'all think that's going to work out?
I don't know how it's going to work out, however, but I do think we need one. I think it goes against what Martin Luther King stood for, unity and us coming together as one. Why we have to.
But what's the purpose of having 2?
I don't know. I don't really think that there isn't one, because and I'm thinking like, okay, so this is the other part. This is how y'all know that I didn't know it was 2. They so close together. It's one downtown and the other one is in Midtown. And I'm like, really? Like, what's going on with that? So, and then my mom was the one that told me that it was actually 2 different parades, because I wasn't aware of that. I was like, I see people, they all in the same proximity, they all holding up traffic. And I'm like, because I live close to downtown. So I was like, hey, so what do you guys think we would need to do? What's the solution for this, for us as an African American community, right? What do you think we would need to do to bring people to the table to get us to a situation where we could literally facilitate one unified parade?
Well, first you would have to ask, why did the second group start one when there was already one in existence? Like, why did you choose to recreate something that was already going well? People knew it was there. It's been there for like what? 4 or 5 decades. I don't know.
From at that point it was like almost 20 years, because 78 to 95 is when the new one started.
So why would you start something else? Like in San Antonio, they have like the largest MLK celebration in the country. San Antonio has one. They come together. I don't know what they do, but maybe those 2 committees need to travel down I-10, 3 hours to the west, and have a conversation on how can that one city come together for this particular event, and why can't we?
Right. And think about how massive and how extravagant one parade could be if they put their monies together, and just really, and what kind of message would that show to us for them to come together? But I don't know. It's been 24 plus years since the second one started, and since the 70s, and so
My understanding is that they even have different flavors. So I was reading that the Black Heritage Society focuses heavily on like having a celebrity grand marshal and having, you know, artists come, whereas the other one focuses a lot more on arts, or, you know, being more artsy, being more inclusive of bands and stuff in the city. But I'm just thinking, like you said, that if they would combine that together, I'm like, that would be awesome, and it would show unity. I think that the parade in itself speaks to a bigger problem in the African American community, just in general, because like if you took it, the parade could stand as an analogy for a lot of the problems that we have in our community as it relates to not being able to engage, not be, you know, most of the time we got too many chiefs, not enough Indians, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to lead, nobody wants to follow. But the thing that is so sad is because it's happening with a parade that stands for unity, right? MLK in general. So, but any follow up thoughts or any final thoughts about the parade before we move into the next topic, which is hot?
No, I don't have anything else to say. I mean, you gave a great point that it does show how disenfranchised our community is and the things that we're lacking as far as communication.
Okay. And so, you know, so that brings us to the next topic, which is so much about unity as well when we talk about Black Houston living. So everybody knows that we have had Hurricane Harvey here in Houston.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I wanted to give some stats first, because I just learned these last night and it was very shocking for me. So we're going to talk a little bit about recovery effort here in the city and even how we could unite as a community, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity here in the city for recovery efforts, for business, and so on and so forth. So some of the stats, real simple. We had 68 deaths as a result of the hurricane here in Houston. Wow. It was $125 billion of damage. Wow. We are second in damage only to Hurricane Katrina, which I did not know that. And then this set a U.S. record for damage and deaths, as well as the amount of property that was damaged in the course of the hurricane. So I'm excited for Vernetta to talk to us a little bit about some of the things that could be happening here or that we have awaiting for us in the future in the city. So what'd you like to talk about?
Okay, so everybody knows I love CNBC, right?
Yes.
Okay, I live tweet the show. So last night for $1 Billion Buyer, they actually had their episode of the Harvey recovery. So everyone knows Tillman Fertitta, the new owner of the Rockets. That's his show. And so what he does is he goes to two different businesses trying to decide if he's going to make a deal with them for one of his Landry properties. And so he used two Houston businesses, Texas Mattress Makers, and I believe it's like R&N. They do like granite countertops and things like that. So in the show, throughout the show, they were showing, you know, pictures of the devastation. They were showing pictures of how people were giving back in the community. He did end up making a deal with both of them. The Texas Mattress Makers, he did a $1 million deal with them. Then out of his personal fund, he bought 500 more mattresses for children who needed a bed after the recovery. And then he ended up doing a deal with the Granite Company as well. They in one of his restaurants, and then they also wanted to do some work at the Toyota Center. So anyway, with the recovery efforts, because the federal government is kind of going back and forth on whether they're going to give the money or not, the problem is Texas does have a rainy day fund. Our governor refuses to tap into the rainy day fund. And if anyone follows the mayor, you would see that he constantly tweets, what's the purpose of a rainy day fund if it's not for...
If you can't use it.
You can't use it when it rains.
Absolutely.
When it rains. So
it's rain.
And a hurricane brings lots of rain, right?
Yeah.
So right now we're at a standstill as far as money coming into the city because the governor's not tapping into the rainy day fund. The federal government is kind of going back and forth on the senators who want to give the money and then who are blocking the votes for the money because they want something else in return. So right now, our entire region is being politicized.
Okay. So, you know, that's a good point. One of the things I want to make sure that I share is that there's a lot of people who have been negatively impacted, right? So they don't really know where to go or what to do or even what to look for as it relates to resources, right? So I know that we said that after the show we would put some resources for people as well.
And we do already have resources on our website of different organizations and people who were doing things prior to it. I know I work with refugees, so it's a very difficult situation for them to already have traumatic experience and move here to deal with that as well. But 6 organizations just received their first donations, you know, from the federal government, and that was just 3 months ago, maybe.
Okay.
So they really have not put the money out into the community just yet. So everybody is literally doing what we talked about with the MLK, coming together and helping each other because we don't really have government money just yet.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that before we close on this particular segment that I tell people if they have to have a career change as a result of the hurricane, the Lone Star College system is offering classes for people that have been impacted by the hurricane, and I'd really like for people to go check that out. Awesome. What I do want to tell everybody is that shout out to all HBCUs because they have had PV, TSU, they've had an increase in enrollment as a result of hurricane recovery, and that's good. I really enjoy the idea of more of us are going back to school and either changing careers or solidifying a career. So thank you. That was an interesting conversation. Thank you for that Houston Black Living, right? So we are going to go and pay some more bills. We're going to go ahead and get out of here and give a word out and a shout out to our sponsor. But you guys come back with us in a couple of seconds.
If you're in Houston and interested in becoming a content creator, attending our 3rd annual boot camp on August 4th, 2018 is an excellent way to learn the benefits and ins and outs of consistent, engaging content creation. For more information on everything I've just mentioned, please visit HoustonAfricanAmericanBloggers.com.
16, first car, backing out of the driveway. Bam! Hit my father's truck. Get out. All of my classmates are laughing at me. I see my life flashing before my eyes. I realize I am the most important asset. What do I need? Life insurance. Life insurance will ensure that your loved ones are taken care of in the event of an untimely death. What is that? Me hitting my father's car. Call Paul Wilson Insurance Agency at 281-200-0137.
Are you a Black blogger, podcaster, or vlogger located in Houston? Do you need help amplifying your voice? Do you want to be an active partner with an association that was designed with you in mind? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, now is an excellent time to join the Houston African American Bloggers Association to enjoy the benefits of working with a thriving and expanding collective.
Trust Paul Wilson Insurance Agency with all of your insurance and retirement needs. They provide insurance coverage for auto, business, home, life, as well as offer retirement solutions and college savings plans. Give them a call, 281-200-0137, or stop by 11700 Barker Cypress Road, Suite D, Cypress, Texas, 77433.
Welcome back to You Think It, We Say It. And this is going to be an awesome segment. We are going to be talking about It Is Complicated. So this is the relationship segment, and I am super excited to be here with Oshita as well as Chandra. And we're going to be talking to you today. We got a hot topic today. It is online dating.
Online dating.
So we are super excited to talk about this. So let me just go ahead and open it up, right? I despise online dating. I really do.
What?
But I had like the worst experience probably, I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago. A girlfriend of mine, she said, Tiffany, go on Plenty of Fish. You could go on there and then you could get a decent date. And I went, and that dude, let me tell you, I want y'all to understand that he started off with a picture that had to been like when he was in high school, because when I met him, he was about 70 pounds heavier and missing about 22 teeth.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was like, ugh, and I've never done it again. So let's talk about online dating and because that's like where everything
Yes.
is now. Like that's the hot way to date, right?
It's the easy.
It's the easy.
It's easy.
When everybody
Easiest
says
way.
that, it's the easy way to date because we're all so busy. So let's just run. Let's go right into it. So what do you think? What's your take on online dating?
Okay, so I think online dating is not going anywhere. We're in a microwave society, so everybody likes to be at home, and everything is right there on their phone. When I did online dating many years ago, I enjoyed it.
Really?
I truly enjoyed it. If it didn't work out, so be it. I got a free meal, and some conversation, and it was, a reason to get dressed up. And then there were some that did work out. But I think it's a good thing, unless you got catfish. Like
So
that's a big one.
So
that's a real big one.
Let
right?
me let you. I have been in situations where I done went to the bathroom and I done told the waitress like how much is my bill so I could pay my part and I'm juicing it up out of there. Yeah, I gotta go because I'm not gonna be able to finish out the whole date. No, I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Bad. Yeah, that's
not
bad.
going to be able to do it. So here's the thing. So there are so many applications nowadays, and this is kind of a interesting conversation I have with my son pretty often. The thing is that I feel like social media makes people feel like they know you better than they really do when you actually go out with them. So like people are judging you based on like your social media post or whatever. And so then when you meet them, they have like this level of familiarity with you that really doesn't exist.
Right. You have to be careful though, because I'm guilty. I've done the online dating before. I don't allow people that I've met online to see my profile on social media.
Okay.
So that works for me. However, I must admit, I usually only get online and do online dating when I'm bored. If I have not met anybody out, every now and then I'll flip-flop. You have to be careful because, like you said, the pictures are not the same.
Right.
Sometimes people have glasses. Guys put hats on and glasses, and they can look like another person when they take it off.
So I don't want to just beat up the men, right? Because like we're women, so that's all I can speak for, right? But let's keep in mind like the women, oh my goodness, I'm like, hold on a second. Wait a minute. That's not right. I don't even recognize you
women
because
are
of all the
filters
filters.
too. Because I've had a lot of men ask me, "Can I see a full body picture?"
Right.
You don't look. They want to make sure you look the same when they see you in person than they do. And I ask, "Have you been catfished?" And they've told me a lot of times, yeah, all the time. Women do it all the time. So I think it's both ways.
So I wonder. So here's the thing. I know that there are pluses to. Let's talk about that. Let's go through some pluses and some minuses. Maybe that might be helpful, right? So I'm going to give you a plus that I see for social media. It's convenient if you are doing online dating, right? Because it gives you a larger access to people, right? Because you can swipe left or you can swipe right, but you also have the opportunity to do, I guess, what would be like speed dating or really, because you can. It's like data mining, right? So I can go out there and I could have access to maybe 500 guys in this particular demographic, right?
Absolutely.
And then I can quickly navigate through it. He's a plus, no, right? But okay, but does that help?
It does. Well, can I tell you my plus?
Yes.
Of online dating. So I can hang my wig on the head. I don't have to put it on. My lashes.
I am not with you.
My lashes are on the countertop. I don't, and I can just sit in front of my phone and be.
So you don't have to get dressed up.
And be natural, natural, and just swipe through.
And figure it out.
It out. As opposed to, when you're going out with your girls and, you're on the hunt. I don't know what they call it. And, you got to get all dolled up, when you're going out or going to a lounge or going, to dinner, to meet a guy or to be on the prowl, so to speak. But if you're, doing online dating, you don't have to. You can just sit in your PJs and say yes or no.
So what's your plus? What do you think? What's your plus?
I think my plus is you can weed out the negative. So if I'm talking to a lot of different men, I can weed them out. I know what I want, what I don't want. So it helps me weed people out of the process of trying to find somebody that could possibly be a potential mate.
So I'm going to play the devil's advocate for a minute on this topic, and I have a quick question I'd like to ask you guys. So, like, how I know that everything is changing. I know that technology is taking over everything. But for me, like, I feel like what happened to traditional dating? Like, what happened to going out? You know, like you go out, you have a glass of wine, you meet a nice guy, you enjoy yourself, you talk, you figure out whether or not it's going to work, and then you move on if it doesn't, right? Why do you feel that online dating is so popular to the point where we are missing that interaction piece of of traditional dating and going out to places and meeting people in general? Why do you think that?
Well, I think pretty much you can hide behind social media, and it's a way for people to be something that they're not. You know, we put our best lives on social media. You know, I only post, when I'm looking good. I don't post when I just wake up, or, I post a happy. So I think online dating does that, for us. And so, you're able to just, you can say what you want to say. If you're a shy person, it's easier to type something as opposed to looking someone in their eyes saying, oh, what's up,
And it's making people lazy. People are lazy. They don't have to plan a date. Before, I remember before I was, married, before, I didn't have to deal with, a guy saying, well, where do you want to go? Well, I don't know what you want to do. They were already planning. So that definitely was something that I didn't have to worry about. They were planning dates. Now they're lazy. They have online. They don't have to, because they're talking to multiple people. So I think it's just laziness.
Okay, so they're talking to multiple people. So let's talk. That's a good segue into. So what apps are people using nowadays for online dating? Because I am not familiar enough to tell you guys about that. So talk to us. Like, I know Plenty of Fish. I don't know. Are people still using that?
Plenty of Fish.
Okay.
We don't suggest Plenty of Fish because Plenty of Fish, the people have 22 teeth?
I don't know.
Right.
He didn't even have 22. He was missing 22 of them.
Of fish.
He smiled and like it was nothing on this side. Like I was like, oh, bro, you need to get that taken care of. Do you need a dental plan? But so what apps are out there?
You have Christian
Mingle, Match,
Tinder,
Black People Meet.
Yeah, that's old though, right?
Black People Meet
are still, it's still active.
But it is.
What about
Match.com?
What about like Real Black Love? Is that an app too? I know it's a black man that owns that one, so that's the reason why I'm giving that shout out because a black man owns that one.
I will see the commercial.
For
that one.
I know Steve Harvey at one point started an online dating app, so that was also one
that he started. Okay.
So let me. So
there are a lot of them that are
there's
out
so
there.
many different interests. I think I saw. You have the sugar daddy one.
See, okay, now
you have the millionaire matchmaker one. So there's so many. I think it just depends on what you're looking for, but you have to be careful.
So that's a good segue into this when we talk about being careful. So we were talking about when you are doing online dating, how much information should you share? Well, I'm a very private person, so I'm on a need to know basis, right? So I feel like as we progress in the relationship, if I feel like you need to know, then I'll tell you, right? But don't get me. I'm full disclosure, but I just feel like when I just meet you, I don't need to tell you everything. Like you don't need to know about my past relationships and all of that. So what should we share as women? Because sometimes women overshare. So what should women or men share when they meet someone and they're doing online dating? So what do you start with? Tell me where you would start.
What do you like to do? Talk about family,
general interests.
Yeah, general interests. What I do for a living, just basic information. I wouldn't go into, like you said, I wouldn't go into my past relationship or how much money I make or, things that would give him a chance to just draw an impression of me that may not be true just from the things that I've said and not getting to know me. So,
would you, my question for you is, so women, we are super sleuths. So you meet a guy, you're going to go and look through that. I know my girlfriends do this. Like they will literally go look. Yes, they will look through his entire.
I've been a private investigator since I was 12.
So they done checked him out on LinkedIn. They done checked him out on all social media. I have a homegirl that actually says that she will spend $14.95 and check on do a background check. I was like, for real? She was like, Tiffany, you don't understand.
You have to.
And I was like, okay. So if women do that, do you think that they should bring up any of their findings in their conversation with the fella?
Not up front.
No, not up front. I think it takes some time. I think it depends on how comfortable you are, but I think it takes some time before you just, you don't want to let the person know I did a background check on you. But I think you might have to,
Why not?
You know, if it's something that's really suspect, then you might want to, you know, if you still want to talk to that person after you get with the information from the background check.
Okay.
That might leave you, you know, trying to get out of the situation and not call the person back. But I think it just depends on your comfort level. If the person is worth,
because y'all know I don't have no good sense. I'm that person. I'm gonna tell them, say, let me tell you some stuff I found out.
What's going on with this 1995 felony?
Exactly. Right. I need, like, that's important. That's something I feel like I need to know. Well, I mean, I think that if we're just starting out, maybe I don't need to know. But I think that as you go along in your relationship, I think that there are certain things that are important. So if you have a felony that's keeping you from getting a job and it's impacting the money that we bringing into the house, I think I should know that, right?
Absolutely.
If you have a crazy baby mama, I should know that. I want you to tell me that. Yes.
You want to know up front?
I want to know up front? Because she might be outside of the dinner place at the window looking at us and waiting for me to go to my car. I want to know that.
But then you might prejudge him. He can have a crazy baby mama, but he might be just an awesome, amazing guy.
He should let me know that. You should tell me that, because I'm gonna tell him that. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna say it.
Well, not up front. I wouldn't.
I don't think I would say it up front.
I watch the Investigate channel with my mama every day. And I need you to understand, there's women and men out here dying because did nobody say that they got a crazy ex-spouse or crazy ex-girlfriend. So I need people to tell me that. I need you to tell me that.
And you need to know it about the person, because I know I was just reading a recent episode that the guy is actually on trial right now. Mm-hmm. A young lady out of Florida, she met him on Tinder, and they were 7 months into the relationship, and she realized it wasn't going well. And so he ended up stalking her and following her, and he ended up stabbing her to death.
Wow.
And so she met him online. So it is very important, you guys out there, to do a background check. Don't feel funny about that. That's important, and that's, you know, that can save a life.
Well, that is a good way to wrap up this segment, you guys. Like, it really is, because be careful out there. It's okay to do your background check. Vet whoever you are dating online. We are going to go out and go pay some bills and thank our sponsor, and we'll be right back with more You Think It, We Say It.
Yay.
Thank you for watching Houston's most diverse opinion-based show, You Think It, We Say It. Brought to you by the Houston African American Bloggers Association. On the show, we share information, opinions, and perspectives focusing on Houston and flowing outward to encompass living well globally. To find out more, please visit HoustonAfricanAmericanBloggers.com.
Go inside to get some food, and I come out, oh my God, my car is stolen. Call my cousin to pick me up. Just so happens he's delivering pizza. But luckily for me, I have Paul Wilson Insurance as my insurance agency. I am properly covered in the event of a loss. Contact them for a free, no obligation review of your current policy at 281-200-0137.
If you're in Houston and interested in becoming a content creator, attending our 3rd annual boot camp on August 4th, 2018 is an excellent way to learn the benefits and ins and outs of consistent, engaging content creation. For more information on everything I've just mentioned, please visit HoustonAfricanAmericanBloggers.com.
16, first car, backing out of the driveway. Bam! Hit my father's truck. Get out. All of my classmates are laughing at me. I see my life flashing before my eyes. I realize I am the most important asset. What do I need? Life insurance. Life insurance will ensure that your loved ones are taken care of in the event of an untimely death. What is that? Me hitting my father's car. Call Paul Wilson Insurance Agency at 281-200-0137.
Welcome back to You Think It, We Say It, and we are on our final segment, which is the most important. It is Get Your Coins. I am super excited about this topic. We are going to be talking about the whole Monique boycotting Netflix. I want y'all to understand. So I threw this out there like haphazardly, preparing for the show. I was like, well, let me put this topic out there and see how people feel about it. So I posted it on my page, and I want you guys to know that, oh my goodness, goodness, like the comments were kind of really crazy. Like I think at some point we got up to like 100 and something comments, and everybody was really excited about this topic. Some was positive, most of it was negative, and so I thought it'd make a good idea for us to talk. So today I'm here with Charlotte and Vernetta, and we're going to discuss this topic, and hopefully you guys will really, really, really enjoy it. I know it's going to be a lot of feedback. So let's start here. You guys want me to give some background? I'm gonna give my background. All right. So background. Monique was offered $500,000 for a comedy show, and her position was that as African American women, we are not offered the same as our counterparts. Very specifically, her concern was Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle garnered, I think, $20 million plus for their show or series, and then Amy Schumer. Was able to negotiate $13 million, I believe. And so for her, for me, my question was, what did Monique do, or why is there such a huge gap in the pay? Because let's be real, $50,000 is less than 5% of $12 million, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about today. And how do you guys feel about that?
Well, okay, so Dave Chappelle literally fell off the face of the earth, right?
Right.
Did not do anything for a while. He comes back to what, $20 million?
Correct.
Monique's been working after being blackballed, and then she's only offered $500,000. She's an Oscar winner. She's won numerous awards. Everything that she has produced herself has been independent. So a lot of people have not seen it or know that she has her own podcast as well. Even though she, quote unquote, fell off after Precious, because that's all people think she's done.
Right.
Over the last, she's been working since. Dave Chappelle, when he left. So how was it allowed that he was offered $20 million after taking a break? No social status, no. He literally had nothing.
Right. There was no work, right?
There was no work. So
exactly.
For him to be offered that, and then for Monique to be offered $500,000, I can understand her pain.
Right.
But for people to sit there and say, well, maybe if she's not angry, or maybe if she does this, why can't she express her frustration?
Exactly.
Why are Black women told that we need to be nicer,
right,
that we need to just suck it up and take what's given to us? But everybody's posting online, hashtag get paid, hashtag get your coins, hashtag own your worth. But everybody is dogging her for doing exactly what they're hashtagging.
My biggest concern, one of the things that I was telling everybody was, this is how I feel. You might not like her method, but her message is valid, right? So, and that's my concern with us as an African American community. Like, I feel like we need to understand when it's time to get behind each other. You don't have to like the way she's delivering the message. You may not even boycott Netflix. Like, that's cool. I get that. But don't devalue that sister just because you think she's being too loud, you think she's being too boisterous. Like, some of the comments that people have been making about this is like, it's like borderline rude and real disrespectful, because they're like, well, she can't garner the numbers that it's business, because she can't garner the numbers that Amy can. And I'm like, okay, but that's not the point. The point is that this is an African American woman out here trying to get more bread, and I'm always for that. So what do you think about that? Like, what is your stance?
Okay, so here's my stance. I understand she has won her awards. I get that, but at the same time, there is still a struggle for us to get out there. And if they're willing to put her out there, even though I might not have taken the $500,000, she could have leveraged that.
Right. I've heard that.
You can leverage that. She could have gone to somebody else and said, you know what? I'm working on some deals. This is what's on the table. What can we do together?
Okay.
Or she
better strategy.
She could have, rocked it out on that Netflix special and leveraged it. We have to start putting ourselves in position to get power.
Right.
And sometimes you take the low offer. It does not diminish your worth to take the low offer every once in a while. I don't think that it's just a way to get your foot in that door and break down that door for others. Even though you might have gotten paid $500,000 this time, the person coming behind you might get that $1 million, might get that $2 million.
Okay.
But don't just slam the door shut and then put everybody on blast and then expect Netflix to be like, okay, well, how's the next person going to react?
So everybody knows that I support Monique. I support her message. Like, everybody knows that about me. I have the people like, really, Tiffany? Seriously, she should have just got her bread. This is what they said. Take the $500,000 and rebrand, right? Do something to fix your PR situation right now. And so I agree with that. Like, I agree with providing women with solutions, but at the same time, I also agree with supporting the fact that the message that she has is that we need to make more money. So here's an example. Wanda Sykes was offered even less than the $500,000,
$250,000.
Exactly.
So that shows you right there that we're not valued. We were talking in the waiting room earlier about the fact that
what Wanda did not do is she didn't put Netflix on blast. She went and got another deal,
right?
More,
Epix.
right?
So I understand, being mad that you got lowballed.
Right.
I get that. I get lowballed in my position, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna, take a blowtorch to everything and burn bridges along the way.
So here's my question, and I had to bring this up because I want to be fair in that the way that she's approaching it, everybody thinks it's negative because they think she's burning bridges. But let's be real. Cat Williams has been saying the same thing for several years, and Bro says it in his show. Like, he tears Hollywood down in his show, and he says that Hollywood doesn't want to pay you a lot of money if you're a black man unless they can put you in a dress, unless they can emasculate you. So, and he says that, and he's very open about it, and he's very candid about it, and he says that that's the reason it impacts his bread. He doesn't get as much money for shows as people like, let's say, who's the last guy that did a show that put a dress on? Well, we know Tyler Perry puts a dress on, but there was a big Martin Lawrence, and and so on and so forth. So for me, he says the same thing she says. He's very vocal about it. He comes on shows and he talks about it. He talks about Illuminati too. But the point that I'm making is that nobody says that he shouldn't ask.
He's a man. The problem is, as a community, we have no problem getting behind a black man. If he's being, if Cat Williams or Dave Chappelle had gotten $500,000 offer, we would literally burn Netflix down.
Yes,
because
that's
that
true.
was disrespectful to them. So it is a level of respect that we have for black men and what they feel is their worth. And then we kind of just throw black women away. Like, she should just take it, or she should just be quiet. Yeah, there are other ways she could have done this, that she could have strategized. She could have used it as a stepping stone, because Netflix has opened the door for many African Americans who would not otherwise have an opportunity. However, as a community, if that was Cat Williams who did that, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
That's true.
I think a difference with Tyler Perry is Tyler Perry stacked his coins over time and opened up his own studio.
Right.
So I think even though that's how he made his money, Tyler Perry he started on the Chitlin circuit.
Right.
He was in Memphis every 6 months.
Sleeping in his car.
Sleeping in his car. He paved the way, but then he turned around and he opened doors for others.
Okay.
And I think that's the difference. I'll rock for Tyler Perry. I have no real opinion on Monique. I mean, I think she's cool. I think she's a good actress. I think she probably could have done things a little bit differently. I understand her point that she feels if she had taken that money, then the next person is going to get even less.
And that's
that.
That's what she said. She said that she felt like if she accepted that amount, then she was opening the door for everyone to negotiate with her in that way. And she was really trying to establish her worth. And it's interesting what you mentioned when you said Netflix has opened, you said that they've opened up the way for African Americans. And this brings me to another show, Black Lightning. The gentleman from Black Lightning made it a point to say that that a lot of networks out there start with African American viewership to build up their network. And then once they have built it to where they want it to be, and once it has become successful, now they change it to more of a Euro feel, right? So the other side to that is that no matter what she said and no matter what they paid, the truth of the matter is that they're saying that African American women don't deserve to be paid as much as a Caucasian woman, or even as much as a black woman. And so, I mean, as a black man. And for me, that's the message that I feel like we have to continue to push. Do I believe that we need to push it in a more positive way? Yes. Do I believe that we need to do, because I do think that she's kind of like the town crier at this point. Like, she's yelling really loud and the building is not on fire. So nobody is really paying attention to her. But this is it's a topic that's been ongoing for so long. So when do we get more money? Like, so if it was a perfect world, what do you think she should have done?
What she should have done?
Yeah.
Walk away.
Okay. And be quiet?
Y'all know me. I wouldn't be quiet. I've left jobs for a 40-cent raise. Like, that's all they gave me. I said, okay, bye. So I'm on Monique's side on this. Like, if I had the resume that she has, I wouldn't want $500,000. They could have at least started at $1 million if they say she hasn't been relevant for a while. But $500,000, that is an insult, and I wouldn't have taken it either.
Okay. You?
I may not have taken the $500,000, but I definitely would have negotiated or seen how I could have leveraged that into other opportunities.
Okay.
So she needs a better team.
So I'm gonna insert this as like in just to get kind of wrap up and get a final thought from you guys. So just before I came in, when we were about to do the show, I was doing a little bit of research and I saw an article that said that she was initially offered $3 million. And they said that she was offered $3 million and they told her that she would need to come in and do a small audition. And she said pretty much basically, I'm Monique. Why do I have to come in and do an audition? Did you have Amy Schremer come in and do an audition for you? And then basically what happened was that because she didn't come in to do the audition, then the discussion happened. I don't know if this is true, but I'm saying it's out there. It's on the internet, right? It's an article that I read. So here's my question. People are saying that is why they are chalking it up to her ego, right? Because they started at the $3 million mark, and then apparently, due to her not wanting to come in to do an audition, then she got lowballed down to the $500,000. So what do you think? Because as women, we always have to deal with that. Like, we're always either the angry black woman or we are the black woman with a chip on our shoulder. What would you say for anybody that's out there in business, period, in general? What's a better way to strategize when you are in a situation where people are telling you that you are not worth a certain amount that you believe? What would you say for them to do?
I say actions speak louder than words. You say that's what you say, but I'm gonna show you, and I may show you with a different company.
Okay.
I mean, the same thing. Like, if the rumor is true that she should have auditioned, that's part of the job, is to audition. So for her not to audition, she did make a misstep. But again, it goes back to her team. Right. What are they doing to make sure that she gets what she deserves?
All right. So you guys heard it. Like, I'm going to tell you, that's really what you have to do. At the end of the day, it's not just about her. It's about a team. Mm-hmm. So she needs to have a really good team around her to make sure that she's getting what she's worth. And then she also has to consider that it might be she may need to strategize in a different way. I'm not saying that she definitely has to take the money that they offered her, but she may want to, negotiate and do a little bit better of a job because, like you said, she is opening up the door for others to follow through behind her.
And sometimes they just need to take celebrities' social media away.
You guys heard that. So it is. I enjoyed it. It was a really, really good show, and I want to thank you guys for watching the You Think It, We Say It. I want to make sure that you come out and join us next week, or join the show next week, and we are going to go and pay our sponsor and thank him for helping us with this episode.